What's going on, guys? Fun with Knives back again. Got another unboxing here to show you. As you can see, my knife addiction continues. This is a new for 2016 model CRKT Amicus, model number 5445. One of the main reasons I got this knife was because it was designed by Jesper Voxnaes. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. And he designs a knife that I've really liked the more I see it, and that's the Odino from Viper Knives. And this looks a little bit similar. You do have your normal CRKT paperwork, normal CRKT green box, and then it just comes in this kind of plastic sleeve here. Let's take a look at this knife. I love the stonewashed kind of acid etching all over this steel handle. This thing's got so much heft to it, I can already feel. I did open it up and look at it earlier. These are my fingerprints on it. But I just wanted to share with you guys my initial impressions, go over the specs real quick, and tell you what I think this knife is going to fulfill for me. So we have a blade length of 3.375 inches, a handle length of 4 3/4 inches, and then an overall length of 8 1/8 inches. So large knife for sure, not too big for EDC, but definitely hand filling. Your blade thickness is a stocky 0.15, and then your handle thickness is right at 1/2 inch. So guys, I love the design of this knife, but it's an absolute tank. It weighs 6.76 ounces. So it's just huge. I mean, it's so nice in hand, but you definitely feel this in your pocket. I can already tell you this is going to be kind of a heavy carry. But you do have an 8CR13 MOV blade, full flat ground, nice satin finish if my fingerprints weren't all over it. Something you don't see a whole lot from CRKT is those full flat grinds. Amicus, Voxnaes design, and I think Amicus means friend or companion, which I definitely think this blade could be for you. I love just the normal drop point. It reminds me a lot of, you know, a Tenacious-esque blade other than the blade stock, where it's just full flat ground and really simple and utilitarian. CRKT logo there. Your deployment is going to be by this oval shaped thumb hole here. Get it in there. That's one thing I noticed, guys, about this knife. It is not very smooth. It's writing on Teflon washers there, and it's really grabby. You can kind of feel that there's dirt or grime in there already. So if that can be fixed, you know, I'll definitely take this knife apart and clean it. But yeah, not a very smooth action. You can see it's kind of hard to flick out. It can definitely be done. And just like with Spydercos, you can flick this out with your middle finger there. See, it's just not as smooth as it should be. But what really called me to this knife was the steel handle, and I'm usually not incredibly fond of steel handles, but the stone washing all over it and the just kind of acid etching on it just looks really cool in the right light, especially in natural light, which I do not have right now. But I love the design of the handle, super simple, just like the blade, gives you a solid grip on the knife. There's no jimping up on top, not sure how I feel about that yet, but this does have a small backspacer here in the back. I believe this is aluminum. This is aluminum backspacer. Great jimping on that, and I love how it kind of floats outside of the handle. You do have a stainless steel frame lock, hitting right at about 50%. And the lockup is incredibly strong. No blade play whatsoever, so I love the lockup on this knife. Blade centering, not very good. I'll get to that grind here in a moment. So blade centering also might be fixed if I do take this knife apart, oil it, and kind of tighten things up. You do have a lock bar over travel stop here, kind of inside, so you can only push this lock bar over so far. Kind of a cool mechanism they employed there. CRKT clip, and then this is just a right-handed carry knife where it's set up for tip up right now, and you can flip it to tip down. Not particularly deep carry, but I mean, you're only going to have, you know, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch sticking out, so I'm not too worried about it. Lanyard hole inside that backspacer. So overall, guys, I like the design a lot. For me, I think this knife is just going to be a go-to beater. It reminds me a little bit of a heavier Cryo too, where your Kershaw Cryo does have these steel handles and, you know, a simple drop point blade. I think this thing would be equally good in an EDC setting, as well as, you know, kind of an outdoor companion folder. I like that they attempted to mill out those steel frames here. I couldn't imagine what the weight would be like if they didn't. You'd probably be 8 ounces or so. The pivot is just going to be kind of satin finish, just like the blade. So overall, guys, you just kind of have this little bit of a two-tone steel going on where you have some satin and some stonewash. Things I'm not impressed with so far. Obviously, the smoothness of the deployment, and whoever sharpened this knife did an absolute terrible job. In a weird sense of the word, the relief edge, you know, this edge here is so messed up. I can't really get it in the light, but it's wavy all over the place. And you can see if you look at the very tip, the apex of your point, instead of being a V, is really skewed to one side. And it looks like they even wore off some of the satin finish closest to the edge. This knife is supremely sharp, though. I did kind of a little cut test, and it's a very sharp knife, but how they sharpened, you know, it just doesn't look like they really knew what they were doing. So kind of be wary if you're looking into an Amicus, because that's just kind of a quality control issue. And yes, this knife costs $36 and not $300, but that's not something you want to see, you know, when you're buying a knife. So hope this brought you a little bit of enjoyment and information, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I do have a lot of knives I'm cycling through as of late because I do have a whole lot of new additions. But stay tuned for an upcoming more in-depth review of this knife. Thanks for watching.